Hello, everybody, and welcome to our next installment of NIU Business Buzz. Today, we are grateful to be speaking with Dr. Christine Mooney, who is the Bill and Paula Leroy Professor of Social Entrepreneurship. And thank you so much for coming. We're going to dive a little bit into social entrepreneurship today. So, if you're okay with starting right up, if you could go ahead and give us kind of like almost the executive summary of social entrepreneurship, just kind of as a whole.
Sure. I think the easiest way to understand social entrepreneurship is to first look at it from traditional entrepreneurship. So traditional entrepreneurship is about coming up or finding an opportunity in the market, developing a solution for that, and then bringing it to market, right? So a product or service that kind of fulfills an unmet need. Well, social is the same process. The only difference is if you're a social entrepreneur, you're really looking to solve a social problem or an environmental problem. Like, for instance, you might want to reduce poverty, reduce hunger, or decrease our decrease our reliance on certain resources, right? So it's the extra layer in there of doing that. And so the main goal for a traditional entrepreneur is the bottom line, or profit maximization, making the most money. Not necessarily to put it in your pocket, but to put it into the organization so that they can grow.
Sure.
For the social piece, they're looking at the double or triple bottom line. So how do we make money? Because we need to be financially healthy, right, to put it into the organization to grow.
Right.
But also, how do we reduce that social problem? How do we reduce poverty, for instance?
Okay.
Or how do we increase access to clean drinking water? So it's more of a balanced view of the financial piece or the social and environmental piece.
Wonderful. I'm very aware that you're very active in the social space. So what kind of projects or research are you currently working on in that space?
Sure. So right now I'm doing research on impact investing. What that is that's looking at investors who invest in social enterprises. So I'm looking more at the angel investors. So angel investors are people who, once you've started your company, right, the first place you go for financing is friends and family, right?
Right.
After you've exhausted that you then go out and look for angels. So this is larger amounts of money, but smaller than, let's say, venture cap. And so I'm looking for those investors who are also impact or interested in impact. Okay. So again, interested in that double or triple bottom line. Okay. And I'm looking at how do they make the decision to do impact investing versus traditional, and then what are their expectations, right? How much are they willing to take a haircut on the financial return,
Okay.
so that there's some social return, or is that still really important? So what does that balance look like? I'm also doing some research on communities. There's been a lot of talk about microfinance, which is small loans to people who are under-resourced to help them lift themselves up out of poverty. And we know that we need to give access to capital to people who don't in order for them to do that. But we haven't looked into what are the other things that we can give them to help. So things like mentorship, skill-based development of skills. And so I'm looking at how communities do that to help lift those people up out of poverty.
Awesome. And kind of like going off of all the opportunities that are out there, what does a career path kind of look like for students, once they graduate getting into the social space?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because, even if you have students who, they hear this and they go, sign me up, I want to do this, right? I can make money and make an impact. This is awesome. But then what do? I don't have a lot of money to launch my business, my social venture, and I don't really feel like I have enough experience yet. So I think the first thing I would recommend doing is, well, this is my bias, of course. We have a new emphasis coming on board in the fall, right? The entrepreneurship and social responsibility. So if you're really interested in being in the social space, whether launching your own business or working for an organization, then you should obviously consider that. I think the second piece, though, is that even if you're in marketing or accounting or any place like that, the two things you can do is, one, research the companies you want to go work for, because most companies have some sort of arm that focuses on social impact, what we call corporate social responsibility. Okay. So if you're really interested in doing that, find out if that company has a CSR section or department, and what are the kind of opportunities for you to move into there, to get experience in these large organizations making a social impact. Right. And then I would say the third thing is just hone your functional skills, right? Because a social venture is a business, and all businesses need accountants, marketers, HR professionals, managers, and that's right. So if you hone your skills in a large organization now, then you'll be ready to either launch that business if you come up with an idea, or be part of a social venture once it's in its growth phase. Because at some point, they're going to be looking for accountants and marketers.
Right.
And so that would be my recommendation.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's an awesome foundation for students to have moving forward. I know that, we were talking earlier, Gandhi said, be the change that you wish to see. So as a student today, like, what can students do now, like right now, to make an impact and really get involved?
Yeah. So I kind of look at it like three ways. And I don't know where this actually comes from, but this idea of giving our time, treasure, and talent, right? And so I think the first easy way to get involved is just to volunteer. And I know we're all volunteering, right? So this is not news, but volunteering like with the day-to-day activities, right? So just showing up to maybe with student organizations or with friends and kind of feeling out all these different great organizations out there making a social impact, right? From there, though, I think you can take it a step further because you might find through that some passion you have. So let's say you show up at a shelter and you're like this, an animal shelter, and say, this is my passion. This should not happen. Abuse should not happen. Everyone should be adopted. So once you find that passion, I say then give your talent. And what I mean by that is you've got marketing expertise. If you're a marketing major, you've got accounting expertise. A lot of times nonprofits, they have certain needs that can't be met because they're kind of icing on the cake, I guess. So for you, for example, I was thinking about you, Louie, you're a social media expert, right? And I can see how in a nonprofit, that just might not be something they can afford to pay for, but they really have a need for it, right, to get their message out there. So you could volunteer your time and specifically, help them create a marketing plan and a social media plan. And it's a win-win because it helps them with the resources they're desperately in need for, but also gives you experience having that social impact.
Right.
And I think the third is treasure. And I know there might be students out there thinking, well, what can I give now? Impact investing, we're talking a lot more money than a lot of us have. But they're actually this great company called Kiva. I know there are other companies out there, but this I'm kind of partial to.
Sure.
And they use crowdfunding to fund, so we all can be part of investing in a social impact. And what they do is they vet under-resourced entrepreneurs, so entrepreneurs that don't have a lot of access to capital across the globe. And so they find out, who's really worthy of being, investing in. And then we can take our money as little as $25, and we can give them that in the form of a loan. They use it, and then they pay us back. We can take that money away, or we can invest it in somebody else.
Right.
So it's a way for each of us to be part of helping individuals lift themselves up out of poverty with as little as $25. So, and then as you move on through your career, you'll be in more of a position to give more too. And I think that's always very, very important.
Right. It's really good to know that there's a plethora of ways to get involved and really truly make an impact. So I want to thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with us today. And as always, we want to thank you for watching and tuning in to NIU Business Buzz. And I'm sure we'll be back again now that there's an emphasis coming in the next semester. So thank you all.